We've actually seen some snow plows out in the area, and that could be because of this slushy consistency that's on the ground. You can see right here, it's very moist. It's not snow. It looks to be more like ice. The Senate took to the floor just a little while ago. The House about to, and you could hear behind me a loud and busy day for many protesters here.
While the damage to these 12 buses is pretty obvious, those in the community didn't even know it had happened.
This is the largest fire in Lexington for the past 30 years, and we're going to give you your first behind-the-scenes look at some of the damage that has occurred here.
Now, compared to yesterday, the road is covered in this mushy mud, but crews say that's not what should bother drivers. And carpenters say probably one of their favorite things about these tree houses, they make you feel like a kid again.
The story of Hillary Moore is a hard one to tell.
It's too late. I mean, my aunt found her, walked in and found her.
His cousin, recently out of jail and rehab, overdosed on Friday and could not be revived.
She was 30, and like I say, she has two little girls, and they're young, so they're left without their mother now.
Lexington firefighters say in January alone, they administered 150 doses of Narcan. Many times, the users in their car, right out in the open, possibly on purpose.
He just overdosed.
This one in Bardstown.
Just in case they do overdose, we find them, or somebody finds them and hopefully calls 911.
Heroin, a main drug of choice, and cases on the rise in Fayette County. Also rising, the price of Narcan, a drug that revives its users.
It's gone from $3 to $38 a dose.
Typically, the Lexington Fire Department gets 8 to 10 calls a day for overdose. But they say that's an underestimate.
2010, we gave 492 doses at a cost of about $2,000. Last year, we gave 1,550 doses at a cost of $59,000.
As for the drugs, they keep getting cheaper and stronger. Heroin cut with fentanyl.
If people were really trying to get better, and they need that support, they need the people, their friends and their family, to be there for them.
Ty says if the right people don't offer a shoulder, you better believe drug dealers will. Covering the news in Lexington, Bonnie Campo, LEX 18 News. Racing through fire and rain.
We know not to run into burning buildings, but you can't help it because they're helpless.
Emery Brinklin, who works on Mercury Equine Farm, burst through what were once these barn doors, trying to free 36 horses inside.
Just like the movie, the flames just rolled, I mean, I have never seen nothing like that, but yeah, it was bad. Terrible.
And this guy's a hero. It was pouring rain, and I mean, he didn't have a pair of shoes on.
Along with 4 others, workers tried to set the thoroughbreds free, but it was too late for too many.
As the barn was collapsing, we just had to call it off.
Inside that barn, yearlings and veteran racehorses. The total of those lost, at least 23.
I think we've brought in 12 or 13 so far. We're still hoping to find more out there. We're searching the fields in case there's some we haven't found yet.
Workers say they think lightning from last night's storms could have started the fire.
Kind of hit the side doors at the same time, which made the wind just rush up in there, and then the flames just ran with it.
But before Emery had to give up, he says the last horse he was able to save was his own. He's walking away with minor burns, but overwhelming memories.
Put it in God's hands, and everything usually comes out all right.
Covering the news in Lexington, Bonnie Campo, LEX 18 News. They went out on a limb.
I think we've been on this project here for about 3 weeks now.
And it's got neighbors' necks craning to the sky.
I think it's an awesome way for people to experience the forest in a new perspective.
To get to this 3-tiered tower, you've got to hike a few hundred steps. But that's not what takes a strong stomach. It's tightening up your tool belt and going to work.
And the wind starts blowing too sometimes, and the trees move, and the platform, does what it's supposed to do, and you just feel like you're on a ship in the trees.
This is the second tree house canopy crew has constructed. The last one took them about 2 months. That sounds quick, but every precaution is taken when deciding where to build.
They do actually try to minimize the impact to the tree roots so that the trees are as healthy as possible.
Even the most skilled carpenters have never seen anything like this.
What I learned how to do, everything was plumb, square, and level, and now everything is floating in the air, neither plumb, square, or level.
And carpenters say probably one of their favorite things about these tree houses, They make you feel like a kid again.
We were kind of disappointed when we put the walls up on the upper platform there. Before that, there was no walls, and we'd all sit out there with our feet dangling over, and now we're kind of like trapped again. We don't get to feel like kids hanging over the edge.
And any moment that we can spend up there in the trees, it's a pretty cool spot.
They say once their project is over in the gorge, they'll get rooted in other cities. Covering the news in Powell County, Bonnie Campo, LEX 18 News.